Hello, hello. Hey, She Army, and welcome to episode 61 of the Simply She podcast, Chronicles of the Love Dynasty. And I'm your host, Crystal Renee. And today we're going to be switching it up a little bit and talking about love, relationships, and dating, which I feel like this topic comes up a lot in a lot of spaces, but
Yes.
it's especially the entrepreneurship space, because a lot of us feel like it's difficult to date because we don't have a lot of time. People may not understand our business, and we're trying to, balance it all. But I did want to make mention, since we're doing this thing live, there's no pause, there's no rewind. We are unfiltered, and we definitely want audience participation. So if you have questions, you can go ahead and type them in the chat. If you have comments, do that too. But you definitely have to allow StreamYard access to your Facebook so that we can see who you are. You can revoke access at any time, but so we can see who you are, and you can leave comments under your name. You do have to allow StreamYard access. But feel free to do so throughout the show. We will be taking questions at the end, so don't be shy. So one of the things that I have avoided is online dating, but my guest today has a completely different perspective, and I think she is going to give us some gems on how to navigate the dating scene and find love. And I'm super excited to hear from her. And let me just tell you a little bit about who she is. So Busola Akinyele is a certified matchmaker and founder of the Love Dynasty matchmaking and dating services based in Houston, Texas, and surrounding areas. Busola is a lover of God, a wife to an amazing husband, and a mother of three beautiful children. She is also a healthcare professional, and being a problem solver has always been a passion of hers. She believes everyone deserves to love and be loved. And having found love herself in an unconventional way, she found inspiration in many people and places, which influenced her dating profiling style and process.
Yeah.
Her top priority is to facilitate the meeting, courtship, and eventual relationship of like-minded individuals, with her primary focus being personalized matchmaking. Her profiling style is best described as modern day love meets divine intervention, coupled with motivations of divine guidance, cultural norms, shared interests, and deep-rooted family values. For inspiration, she looks to God and attempts to connect individuals with varying compatibility traits and shared values in effort to form lasting relationships. When people see her work, she hopes they experience the redemption of love and loss and the finality of everlasting bliss. So welcome to the show, Busola. Welcome, welcome.
Thank you. Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. I'm so excited to be here. Hello, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Thank you for having me. I'm ecstatic to be here so much. Thank you for that warm welcome too. Gosh.
Oh, you're welcome.
I'm like, I'm hearing you. I'm like, wait, this is me. Yeah.
Yes, it's you. So tell us a little bit about how you guys started in the matchmaking business. We'd love to know.
So, like you just read in my bio, I am of love. I'm so passionate about love, and I do believe that everyone deserves to love and be loved. I mean, if you can all agree with me, no matter what race, no matter what gender no matter what ethnic background that you identify yourself with, we all need love at some point in our lives, so, but it's just trying to find the right kind of love with the right person that really matters. So with me, the way I got started in matchmaking is, and apart from the fact that, again, I'm very passionate about love, it's something that I've always loved. I always try to, when I was in high school, even through college, I would always try to match one person together. I'd be like, look, you're single, so come on, y'all can be together. Why not? But, I've just always had a passion for it, and I've always done it on the side. But what really sealed the deal for me was even my own personal experience with love and dating. So, I've always dated with not even knowing the direction in which I was going. I find someone that I like, and I'm just like, okay, let's date, But after having been in a relationship that lasted almost 4 years and thinking that I was going to marry that person, when that relationship ended, literally just gave up on love. And I'm like, This is the person that I saw my life with. I envisioned my life with this person. And when it ended, I'm like, where am I going to start from now? How am I going to start this? So, and with me being Nigerian and African, seeking love online or in an unconventional way was not ideal. It was what I was used to was just, okay, either finding someone or in your workplace, or maybe your friends introduce you to somebody. That's what I was used to. So when I came to I literally had to just, tell God, like, look, God, I've been doing this by myself all these years. I'm not getting the result that I want. I literally had to ask God to step into that situation for me. Like, God, you know what? I just surrender everything to you. And sometimes even when we do that and ask God to take control of your relationship or whatever, we always have an idea of how we want him to take control. But the ways of God are not our ways. He might just spin you in different direction that you never even believe that he's going to take you. So the direction that he took me, my dating world, and that's how I was able to find my partner. And me, and when that happened, I'm like, God, really? I've never done this before. Like, is this really going to happen? Absolutely not. But when I allowed God to step into that situation, and when I listened, I was open-minded and I allowed myself to trust the process. It's like I've been doing the same thing all over, doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same result. Let me new something that's out of the box. Let me try something that's totally different. And I was able to get the result that I wanted. And it was just because of that. That's how I said to myself, I want to help people believe that love does exist. I want to help people navigate. I want to help them navigate, the ways in which you can find love in an unconventional way. I want to help you navigate those things that you desire, those things that, and bring fruition. So, and also teaching people and educating people on the foundation that makes a relationship last longer. So that's the reason why I became a matchmaker, and that's why I'm here today.
Awesome. Well, that's like such an amazing and powerful story. And the fact that you found your significant other online, I know a lot of people definitely in my circle, we shy away from. You're like, oh, I don't know. It's like some sketchy folks on there. But but it's definitely inspiring to hear that, like, that's how you met your husband. So definitely want to be getting more into that as we hear from you. But I think people also want to know, like, what does the process look like to work with you, and like, who would you normally work with?
So for me, because there was that gap in my society, in the African community, and like I said, I am African, I am Nigerian. I understand our culture. I understand our beliefs, our cultural norms, and we look for in our culture whenever we want to get married or whenever we're seeking to have a healthy relationship. And I understand even through just listening to God and having God way, I understand those things that help a relationship last longer, that helps you have a healthy relationship. Reason why I wanted to be able to help those African professionals that are busy, the entrepreneurs that are busy, and they're too embedded in their work life that really don't have the time to go out and date, and people that really are relationship minded, people that are intentional about wanting to be in a healthy monogamous relationship that could possibly end up being leading into marriage. Those are the people that I work with. I don't work if people that are looking for a situationship or people that are looking for, just a fling. My service is not for them. I deal with and with people that are relationship minded and that are intentional about finding a life partner, that are intentional about being in a healthy relationship. And I mainly work in professionals. So the process with our service is we get to know you personally. We get to know you on a cultural level, on a professional level, on an intellectual level, on an emotional level as well. Like, we get to know you. What are your likes? What are your dislikes? What do you like to do? What do you not like? What are your values? What are your values that you uphold so high, that are important to you? Those things are, those are the questions that we ask you. We get to know you, and we curate a personalized service for you. So even with the process, all you have to do is just show up. You know, we set the data for you. Date, and then after you go on the date, we call you back to get a post-date feedback from you to see how the date went. And our hope is that you meet the person right away and you find connection and you have a chemistry. But if that doesn't happen, of course, that's fine. We just go back to the drawing board and do the process again. So that's what people can look forward to when they're working with us.
Awesome. So I probably have a lot of misconceptions, but what are some common misconceptions you face when people want to work with you?
Ah, wow, that's a good question. I think some of the misconceptions that we face is that sometimes people think that matchmaking is for people who are desperate and who can't get dates on their own. Or people think to themselves like, wait, am I that bad that I really need somebody's help? That I need someone's help and I need a matchmaker to step into that situation. But you know what? That's not really what it is. I think it's just about you being intentional and taking control of that. I've been doing the same thing over and over again, or I may have been choosing the wrong people, or I may have been in the or in pulling from a dating pool of the wrong people, or not being in the right environment, and control of my love life, especially if that's what you want. That's what you're at that point. You know, everybody at some point in our lives, we all probably don't want to be in a relationship. We may not feel like we're ready to be, or we're ready to be there, or we're ready to give our 100% to someone. But when you're there, then you can say, hey, I want to take control of my life. I don't want to do the same thing I'm doing all over again. And you can actually take accountability and think to myself that I may need help. It doesn't mean that I don't know. I mean, it doesn't mean that I'm desperate, or it doesn't mean that, but I just want somebody to be. We go to different people to do our taxes. We go to different people to do our taxes. If you want to buy a car, you go to different. If you want to buy a house, you get a realtor, right? So why not a matchmaker for your love life? Those are some of the misconceptions. Sometimes that people also think that it may be too expensive. It's only for like old and rich people. No, the service is actually quite affordable. It's affordable to people, and sometimes you may some people also think that we're going to make fun of them if they're talking to a matchmaker, but that's not it. A matchmaker is here for you. Like, we want to make sure that you're successful in finding love, because guess what, your success story is our success story. When you're happy, we're happy. So those are part of some of the misconceptions. And some people may also think, I don't need a matchmaker, I can get a date on my own.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if you've been doing the same thing over and over again and getting the same results, why not try something different?
Yeah, I definitely get that from my friends. They're like, you just don't like, I'm like, listen, I have my, new people. I filled you out a little bit. So no, but that resonates with me a lot. Doing the same thing over and over, expecting a different result. I mean, you're not going to get one. So definitely sometimes take stepping outside of your comfort zone, do something, try something different, meet new people.
Step outside of your box. Step outside of that box and meet new people. Because some of us, especially if you are an entrepreneur, a lot of the times you're either in your office or you're working from home or you're doing your own thing from home. So you really don't get to meet people. You really don't go out there. You really don't find different people. And you probably see the same people over and over again. You have the same circle of friends. If you attend a church, you see the same singles, or even if you're working in an office environment, you see the same person over and over again. So, but a matchmaker or in the service of a matchmaker kind of exposes you to a variety of people. We have a large database, and that we can match you with. And these people they are vetted. Our clients are vetted already. We've already curated that personalized for them. And we use our own professional touch as well. And our intuition. We can never go wrong with our intuition.
Awesome. Yes. So we did have a comment that came in.
Yes, ma'am.
Relationships are really a bit complicated in the present times. Some of us are so skeptical about what really matters to some degree in relationships of today.
I totally agree. And I would say this too. Before I met my husband, and like I said, after leaving a 3.5 years, I was very skeptical. I was extremely skeptical because I'll tell you this, even when I met my husband, I lied. I lied about my name. I lied about my age. I lied about a lot of things. Why? Because of my skepticism, because I was so skeptical. I didn't know him. I didn't know the kind of person that I was meeting. But guess what? That was sabotaging myself because I was letting my fears, my skepticism get in the way of me finding the right person. And it's understandable to be skeptical for us to have our fears. But when we really know who we are and we are intentional about what we want, and we know what we really want in a relationship. A lot of times people think they know what they want, but they really don't. But when you sit down, because it's kind of like, sometimes people will lie to you. Well, you can't lie to yourself. To be truthful to yourself. You know yourself better than anybody else. So when you're really intentional about you, what do I want as a person? What am I looking for in a partner? When I ended that relationship, I really had to be intentional. Like I had to go to God and say, God, like I thought I knew what I wanted, but I didn't because I was just dating. If I saw somebody that I like, I'm like, okay, he's cute. We're vibing. We have a connection. But I really didn't sit down to ask myself necessary questions that, Busola, what do you want? Who are you, first of all? What makes you happy? What makes you sad? What are my strengths? What are my weaknesses? What things that makes me happy? And then when I came to the idea of myself and who I really was, that's when you can start thinking about, okay, what are my deal breakers?
Mm-hmm.
And setting boundaries for myself and realizing that these are the things that I'm going to take from a relationship, but these are things that I'm not going to take. And when you know that, nobody can step in your life when they're not serious. Because when you know who you are and what you want, you are able to weed out the bad leaves when they come into your life. So it's okay to be skeptical, but out of that skepticism too, let us also be intentional about what we want and what we're looking for.
Yeah, I say intentional and also honest. Also
I'm sorry, you cut
about
off.
I said intentional but also honest as well.
Yes, exactly. Because I
Mm-hmm.
mean, you can have people. You can't lie to yourself. You have to be honest with yourself. You have to just sit down and look yourself in the mirror and have a come to Jesus moment and say, look, let's be honest. What am I really looking for? What am I really looking for in a relationship? And sometimes those expectations may be unrealistic, and you just gotta be realistic with yourself.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that's just very important.
Absolutely. So a lot of my She Army, we are entrepreneurs or career professionals, ambitious women, and some men that listen as well. So what are some common pitfalls that the ambitious goal getter crowd that we have that may be limiting us from
Ah,
finding that someone special?
I think some of those pitfalls are, you have that go-getter attitude. You are so driven, which is awesome, which is great. But sometimes you just don't have time. You don't even have time for yourself. You're so busy. I think one of the major pitfalls is just having time, setting that time apart for not only yourself to take care of yourself, but to have the time to even go out there and date. Because for you to be able to meet people, you have to put yourself out there. You have to mingle. You have to be in different social circles, social networks, and things like that. But you're trying to build your own empire, trying to achieve the goals that you have set out for yourself. And that is amazing. That is great. Like, I'm not going to knock anybody that's trying to do that. No, keep going, keep striving hard. But sometimes you just have to take a moment, breathe and relax and just take time out. I think that's one of the pitfalls is just setting out time. And when people are busy, especially professionals, some people are working a week, 60 hours a week that they really don't have the time to go out and date. Um, so that's it. Another pitfall is really not knowing what you want, not knowing what you desire in a partner. Like, you know that you want love, you want someone that's going to blow your bells and whistles, that's going to sweep you off your feet. But sometimes it goes beyond that, because we all know love alone cannot sustain the relationship. So, um, so that's where you need to be really intentional about you, what you want, and those values, those things that you're going, your cultural values, those things that are very important to you. So sometimes people don't really know what they're looking for in a man, and sometimes our expectations are realistic. So those are some of the common pitfalls that I find, especially with busy professionals, and I just want to help, and that's why our services are there, to be able to help you navigate through that. How do you set out time for you to even date? And if dating is even part of the goals that you set out for yourself, as an entrepreneur, we have different goals. You want to make this amount of money, you want to do this, and you can get there, and you do whatever it takes for you to achieve those goals. You should be able to do whatever it takes for you to achieve the goal of love. Love is important. I hope I've been able to answer some of your questions.
Yeah, absolutely. I know for me, like you said, being intentional. So it's like if I meet somebody, I'm definitely gonna set aside the time, because I realize that was like what you said is like so spot on, because I realized like I have to actually make the time to like go on a date or like meet this person, or if not, then like it's never gonna happen. So I definitely am intentional about setting aside time. But like you said, for myself as well, but also to date, like making that a habit, like, okay, this is important to me. So let me set aside, I don't know, a day a week or whatever that's decided to, kind of further my connection with a particular person. So
especially if it's a requirement for you at that particular time in your life, where you feel like, okay, I have everything else that I want. A lot of times entrepreneurs are like that, and professionals, like, okay, I have achieved this much in my career. Now, the only thing missing is love. So for you to have been able to achieve that much in your career, you put in the time, the effort, the energy, and the resources needed for you to be able to. So for love as well, if it's a requirement for you, if it's what you want, then you should also be able to do the same thing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So do you, when you're working with people, do you find that people are sometimes afraid or not honest with you in what they're looking for, which might make it hard to like actually match with somebody?
Yeah, sometimes, yes. I think that's when, because when they're working for the first time, they're a little skeptical. They don't know what the service is going to be. They don't know what they're getting out of it. So sometimes they are afraid to really be who they are and to really say what they want. But the way that I help them, and I just let them look, I am here for you. I'm here for your happiness. Your success story is our success story. So the honest you are with me, the service you're going to get out of it. Because when you're honest and when you're truthful, we can help you navigate your way through finding that healthy relationship that you. So sometimes people are afraid to say, or to say even things that have happened in their past relationship. If you're carrying a baggage from a relationship, or if you're having some kind of issue that is not going to move forward, it's very important to be able to disclose that information so that we can work out a plan as how you're going to get over that. So that's not going to stop you or sabotage you from achieving the healthy relationship that you want.
Absolutely.
So I think that's very, very important. It's very important for you to be honest and be truthful about yourself. And sometimes when you're honest and we feel like this expectations that you want or from the service are unrealistic, we'll be able to tell you as well. We'll be honest with you and say, I don't know if this may be achievable. And then we'll steer you in the right direction that you need to be.
Awesome. So what advice would you give someone who's looking like they're starting to get back out there, starting to date again? What steps should they take?
I think one of the most important things is to be positive. Have a positive mind. Because if at this point you feel like I want to put myself out there, I am ready, I want to be in a relationship, I want to find love, you have to be positive and open-minded. Because when you're negative, if you feed yourself negativity, you're going to attract negativity. So you have to be just positive, have an open mind, and trust the process. And another thing is really, really be intentional about what you want. If you really want to find love, be intentional what you want in that relationship and how you're going to achieve that relation, how you're going to achieve getting that healthy relationship that you want. And also, sometimes don't be afraid to make mistakes. Mistakes happen, but you can learn from those mistakes. And be a better version of yourself. Be who you are and let your shine through. When we set you out on that date, be you. Let the good side of you, let the positive, let it shine through. Let them know who you are, bring to the table, the value that you can add into someone's life. I think those things are important. And I cannot stress this enough. Be positive. Like, it wouldn't look good if we send you out on a date with somebody, and throughout the day you're just negative. And even when someone's trying to be nice to you, we have that sometimes. When someone is trying to be nice to you, you're just negative, and you're not gonna get a second date, babe. You're not. I have this experience that I want to share, and a lot of times we can present you with what you paper, but at the end of the day, if you just have a bad character, it's not gonna work. So and be nice and always smile when you're smiling. And it goes back to being positive. Be nice to people. Let the best of you, let it show forth in everything that you do. When you're out on dates, when you're in a social circle, when you're with your friend, let the positive, better side of you always show forth.
Absolutely. Awesome. Guys, I hope y'all taking notes, because this is good stuff. I'm just saying. So we do have a lot of ladies who are, possibly trying to start their own business or maybe interested in the field. So, like, what advice would you give any of our female entrepreneurs thinking about going into the industry of matchmaking and relationship coaching? What advice would you give them?
There's a version in the Bible that just came to my mind. It says, write a vision, make it plain. When you write that vision, make it plain and go for it. If you're passionate about it, just start. Just start. Trust God. And even when you fall, get back up and try again. Even when you make mistakes, you learn from those. And just do it. Just do it. Just put yourself out there. Just get out there. Because a lot of us, sometimes we have value. We have gifts. We have life lessons that may even be a blessing to someone. We have something to give. So just start. You just never know how you can be a blessing to someone else. Just from someone listening to your story, just from someone listening to your experiences, and just from you sharing your experiences, you might bless somebody's life. So just start it. Whatever innovation that you have, whatever innovative idea that you have, just start it. It might change the world one day. Just never know.
Absolutely. I said yes, absolutely. One of the things that I tell people or say is, like, you never know who would be hurting if you didn't tell your story. So it's like very much along the same lines or in the same vein. So for sure. So with that being said, what do you feel like is your biggest accomplishment to date? Oh, so you're frozen. Can you hear me?
Can you hear me?
Difficulties.
Yes.
So, all right, there you go. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you now.
Okay, you cut out for a second there. The question was, what do you feel has been your biggest accomplishment to date?
Okay, and I was saying that one of my biggest accomplishments is starting this company, first of all, because I never even, like I said, I've been doing this on the side, but I just never thought of it as it being something bigger than it is now. But that's one of the things, is just encouraging myself and having different people around me that support me, that was pushing me and say, do it, just start. And just like I'm telling other people to say, start it. I had my own support system that pushed me and encouraged me to start this. So I think even taking that bold steps, and also some, the testimonials that I'm getting from people that, thank you. When I met this person, I remember setting someone on the date. He's already asking, telling me, sent me a text, and he's like, she might be the one. And I'm just like, it's just that feeling of bringing love into someone's life. That's my greatest satisfaction. That's my greatest accomplishment.
Awesome. So, I guess similarly, what's the biggest lesson that you've learned in your journey?
Wow, that's a big one. I think one of my biggest lessons that I've learned, I would say, is sometimes you may not be able to help everyone. As much as I want to change the world one heart at a time, sometimes you may not be able to help everyone, because if you're willing to do the work and the other person is not, then there's
Hmm.
nothing that you can do about it.
Yep, that is
Just
very
as
true.
much as you're the other person, it takes two to tango. Both of you have to be able to work together for the same common goal. And if I'm trying to help someone find love and they're not willing to do the work, and they just think that, hey, just find me someone, I'll go on a date and we just end in there, it doesn't work. You should pursue, you should put in the work, because finding love and maintaining a healthy relationship requires work, and you have
Hmm.
to be able to do the work. Some people, they just don't want to do the work.
Yeah, that is very true. Um, so what's next for you? What new projects are you working on?
So right now, I'm actually just taking it easy, you know, just taking things easy right now. But next year, I want to venture more into different things and collaborating. Right now, I'm collaborating with other matchmakers, but right now, just because I have a baby, and what I realize is I have to be comfortable with the kind of work that I take on, that it doesn't become too where I'm not able to meet my goals. So right now I
Mhm.
want her to be a little bit older, so then I can venture out myself. So but by next year she'll be a little bit older, and I'll be able to even take in more clients, because I kind of streamline the clients that I work with at each point at a time. So
Mhm.
I'm not too old, not necessarily overwhelmed, but I don't want to promise something that I won't be able to deliver. So
Awesome. Well, congrats on the new baby.
thank
Oh.
you. Thank you.
Uh,
Thank you.
so are there any books or articles or anything you recommend us to check out as it relates to dating or entrepreneurship or anything else, really?
I think as it relates to dating, I would say date there's certain books online that are, and okay, first, before I go on to dating, there is someone that I know that it just, that if you have kids, and if you're married and you have little children, there's a book out there, how to be financially, how to be a millionaire. But this book is mainly for kids, and it teaches them how to be financially stable from age, teaching them the importance of saving from a young
Okay.
age. So that is very important. A lot of times we miss that with our with our kids, and kids don't really know financially stable. And not only that, how to just pretty much take care of their finances and not spend too much at a young age. One, and then two, about dating. Of course, we all know Patty Stangler. She's the god of matchmaking, so she has a lot of books out there. So I think those are some of the things that I would say to like online.
Awesome. All right. So those are really all of my questions, but we do have some questions from folks watching, and now would be a great time. If you haven't been commenting or submitting questions, go ahead and do so now. We do have one from Allie. Hey, Allie. Um,
Allie.
what advice would you give someone who is not realistic about their love goals?
Oh, wow. Well, that's a great, great, great question. So, someone that is not realistic about their love goals, what advice would I give them? So, let's say, I know that everybody has a preference of what they want. She says, "Hi, ladies." Everybody has a preference of what they want or what they're looking for. Now, but if you're unrealistic, and one question that I always ask people is the kind of love that you want, love that you seeking, and the kind that you're expecting. Are you willing to give that same kind of love?
Mm,
So, if you are being unrealistic, are you willing to give the same thing you are seeking? To do that. And 9 times out of 10, if they're being unrealistic about their love goals and you hear, well, I don't know, I don't think I can do that. But you're from someone else. And 9 times out of 10, you would know that. If you're unrealistic about, oh, I want, let's say for ladies, I want a fine, tall, black, this, he has to be making 6 figures, has to be making this kind of money. Are you making that kind of money yourself? Are you bringing the same thing to the table?
mm-hmm.
If you're looking for a high valued man, are you a high valued woman?
Hey, you gotta ask the question, right?
You gotta ask the questions. So it's just plain, and those are the things that, and we just help you. We help navigate and bring you back to reality. That look, some of the things that you're looking for may not exist. For you to be able to get this, you also have to be there. You also have to be able to have these things in a partner. So that's the kind of give someone that's not being realistic about their goals, and just kind of just speak in the right direction and let them know, look, and I'll validate their feelings. I understand what you want and what you're looking for. It may not be out there,
Mm-hmm.
or it may take you a while to get it. Are you willing to wait? And for
Right.
you to be able to get what you want, you got to be able to put in the work as well. So I thought we give them.
Absolutely. Comment from Allie. She says that's true. A lot of people sometimes don't put in the work for what they want. Yeah.
And when you throw that question out there, it's always funny that's when you see that little pause. And then that's when you make them think that, okay, that's true. You really want to have love. You want all the bells and whistles. You want someone that's going to sweep you off your feet. But are you willing to be that person for them as well? Are you willing to love that person unconditionally? Are you willing to do the right things that it takes to do what it takes for you to have what you want?
Yep. So if y'all have not asked yourselves that question, I think that's an important question
I
to
think
ask.
it's important. It's really important to ask. And in relationships, you can never ask too many questions. Ask those questions. Ask them several times. If you have to ask them in different ways, ask, ask, ask. Because a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage, and you want to be prepared. Those questions only question when you're especially when you're courting, when you're dating someone. Ask, ask, ask. But I always say this to people that some of the questions that you're asking, if you have down and taken time to ask yourselves those questions,
Mm-hmm.
and ask yourself those questions as well, and answer yourself those questions, you're not going to know the right question to ask. And even when you ask the questions, you're not going to know the answer that you're looking for.
Mm-hmm.
So
Absolutely. Yeah, I can definitely attest a broken relationship is better than a broken marriage. So, as somebody who has been through it, I'm just saying,
Crystal said a broken
Busola is not
relationship.
lying to you guys. She is not lying. So, I'm just seconding, thirding, fourthing, fifthing what she's saying because it is not
You've
easy.
been there, and sometimes that decision is tough to make, especially because the fear of starting all over again. You're
Mm-hmm.
like, how am I going to do this? How am I going to start all over again? I was there when I ended that 3.5 year relationship. It was not easy because, like I said, I saw myself with this person. And even though there were some things that I didn't like, I knew this, I saw some of the signs, but I kept telling myself, how am I going to start all over again? Then
Yep.
I'm going to court someone for another year, another 2 years, or whatever before we get to that step. So it's easier for me to just continue on the process and start and continue to endure. And I think that that's one of the reasons why people don't get out of a bad relationship, because of that fear of starting all over again. The fear of sometimes even being by yourself, because it's okay
Yeah.
to be by yourself sometimes and take
It
time
is.
to just think and reflect on some of the mistakes that you made in the past and learn from it and move forward.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yep.
so when I left that relationship, it was hard. It was really really hard, not knowing what was going to happen, not knowing what direction I was going to go in my life. But that's when I just had to tell, I'm not going to do this alone by myself again. I'm just not. You just have to. And within 6 months of meeting my husband, we got married.
Oh wow.
Yes. We got married, and we didn't have all the bells and the whistles of marriage anyways. We got married in my pastor's office,
Oh wow. Hey.
literally on a Sunday in my pastor's office, and almost 6 years in.
Yeah, I
So
was about to say, as someone who had a pretty substantial wedding, that is okay. So
no, it's
it is
I mean,
absolutely okay.
if you can afford the big weddings, why not? I mean, all power to. Why are you shaking your head? She's like, no,
Mm-mm.
no,
I mean, I'm not going to discourage anybody from doing it. I'm just
but
saying.
no, I'm
Mm.
definitely, if you can afford that wedding. Guess what? We have all, especially as ladies, when we were little, we've envisioned our wedding day and
Mhm.
how it was going to be, the kind of dress we were going to wear, the horse and carriage that was probably going to bring us into the venue and everything. We've envisioned it. But she said, but it's okay to have that if you can afford that. I'm not going to stop you from doing it. I'm not going to knock you from doing that. But also, if you cannot afford that, don't be in a major debt just because you want to have because you want to have. But if you cannot afford that, it's okay. I mean, like I said, my husband and I got married in my pastor's office. And 5 years later, my pastor called me in his office and he was like, wow, I am proud of you guys. So it's not sometimes not how far, but how well.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. That's why I said that is okay. I
it's
mean, I was
okay.
like, I should have done something similar. I was laughing at Ali's comment. She's like, no one can afford those, and we just do that because we're crazy. Yes, yes, that is you are right. That's exactly why we do it. So, but yeah, I mean, not to knock anybody's big day. I'm just,
Yes,
you
no,
know,
absolutely not. And
yeah,
even especially you realize as the pandemic, a lot of people that have planned to have a wedding during the pandemic didn't get to have their big weddings.
yeah.
So, and if you didn't, it's okay. Don't they shouldn't feel bad about it.
Mhm,
It's okay.
it really is.
But
I just,
some people still want to be wedded, and it's okay if you want that too. Whatever you want, you can have it. It's your life, so you have to live your life how you want. Whatever makes you happy, that's what you're gonna do. So, but for me, I think we just chose to go that path. And when we decided to just trust God and let us lead us, He didn't promise that the road was going to be all smooth throughout the whole journey. There were some and there were some circumstances in the middle, but He saw us through it. So 6 years down the line, 3 kids later, here we are.
yeah, that's amazing.
Still here.
Amazing.
God.
So I don't think we have any other questions. Busola, do you want to drop your social media handles and your website? How can people get in contact with you and hear more from you?
So our Facebook is the Love Dynasty on Facebook. Also on Instagram, it is the Dynasty underscore. So you're welcome to follow us. Our website is also www.thelovedynasty.com to inquire about our services. All our information is on there. So you can definitely just go on our website and it will direct you to us.
Awesome.
You
Thank you
send us
so
an
much.
email at the Love Dynasty one at Gmail. If you have any questions or if you just want to be part of our databases as well.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Busola.
Thank
So,
you.
so guys, for more information on Busola and the Love Dynasty, how to contact her, how to connect with her, you can click on the links in the show notes for this episode. This is episode 61. To access the show notes, you go to isimplyshi.com/podcast. Again, that's isimplyshi.com/podcast and click on episode 61. So, guys, if you would like to join a collective of women dedicated to being empowered and becoming the best version of themselves, join the She Army Facebook community, and that link is also in the show notes. I truly hope you found what we shared today to be helpful. And remember, you too can conquer if you slay hard every day. And thanks so much, Busola, for coming on.
Thank you so much, Simply She. I really appreciate it. Thank you, thank you, thank you.